Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is James Ramos from At the Quarter Pole, and here's my 2025 projected field for the Pegasus Cup at Gulfstream Park. Not only the field, but I'll give you my pick. And here we go. As we start out from the number one horse would be Croupi. Now they haven't selected the post position. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you from 1 to 12 what I have right now from the Horse Racing Nation. And Croupi hasn't shown a lot. He's been off of form for the last 2 to 3 starts. His best race was against Arthur's Ride, where he came in second as a price and ran second to him at New York. He was ranked second. He was in front of Post Time, who ran a good second in the Breeders' Cup Mile this past year. But he's going to need a lot of speed to really show marked improvement. I don't think the fraction could be that fast in the Pegasus Cup. A lot of people are predicting, because it's a load of speed, that it would be a fast pace. On the contrary, I think, though, with all the speed and the horses running in the races, a lot of them are the top contenders, are going to kind of slow it down. Pace fractions I'm looking at is 22 and 3, but they're going to slow to half at 47-1, 47 and 3. So they have something left in the last 1/8 of a mile. That's my projection. On to Imagination, another horse that's entered, came in third in the Malibu Stakes, right behind Raging Torrent and Stronghold. He came at the inside, was fighting the hole about halfway through the race. You look at the replays, he was fighting the rider pretty well. I believe it was Joel Rosario. He came on the inside, had nothing left to give with about another furlong left. He had the inside gap. He could have shot the gap between the Fade and Speed. That was Pilot Commander and maybe overhaul Raging Torrent, but he did. He just kind of ran one pace. I'm throwing Imagination out. I'm throwing Croupi out for the first two horses. Third horse I'm looking at right now will be Lot. Lot, the horse that won the optional allowance at New York and also won the Cigar Mile. That was a good race. Problem with this race is a la Domestic Dispute. Horse is running at 1 turn mile, and now we're going to go to the Pegasus World Cup, which is going to be 2 turn race. Lot has to either come off the pace, which it looks like his projection running style will be for the race. Will he have anything left in that last furlong? Not the mile. He'll definitely make the mile, but the last furlong is going to be who has what it takes to win this race. And I would say not, and especially the short odds that Locke is going to probably might be even the first choice at 3-1, 7-2. Yes, this race is that competitive. I'm not using Locke. On to the next race, Mixto. Mixto, the long shot winner from the past Pacific Classic last year, hasn't ran a lick. I don't expect him to run a lick again. Will be big odds, around 20, 30-1. I wouldn't use him. I wouldn't even use him for fourth in the Superfetta. He's definitely out. So I'm going to my next horse, Mystic Dan. Mystic Dan ran at Santa Anita. I think the Kenneth McPeak would try to get this horse running in the Stroop Series. I was wrong about that. I guess the reason I was wrong about that because he ran so poorly. He ran last. Yes, last in Malibu Stakes. He broke well, didn't show a lick. It looked like a horse that's been out for a whole year than 6 months. And he's really going to have to move up his speed figures up almost to at least another good 10 to 15, even to be competitive in the race. Mystic Dan needs maybe 2 or 3 races, or maybe this after Mystic Dan and won the Kentucky Derby. I'm not using Mystic Dan either. He's another throwout, and they're just making it way too easy for me. But I'm not using him. Off to the next horse after Mystic Dan. Let me take a look at my notes. New Grange, a horse that runs at Santa Anita. They're bringing him from Santa Anita to run this horse. I think he's over a barrel against this field, especially running out in the East Coast. It's the East Coast horses that got the shot to win this race. I'm not using New Grange. I think he needs a softer field, at least a softer G2 race than the Pegasus Cup. And maybe they think he might get a small check, maybe third and fourth. That's possible, but I'm not using in the first 2 layers. I'm not using Newgate. Next horse after that, Power Squeeze, the filly. Yes, this horse does make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Was really in good form at Saratoga, kind of got a little off form, and then did not make the Breeders' Cup Distaff at Del Mar. Now he's pointing up to the Pegasus World Cup for against boys. This horse has definitely a shot. In the exacta, I would use this horse in exacta. Definitely try. And he does have the weight and willpower to have a good kick. Because like I said, I think the fraction is going to be moderate. I don't think it's going to be fast. A lot of people project, but they'll be moderate and give this horse a shot. and that's Power Squeeze. The filly has a shot against the boys in this race. On to the next horse would be Saudi Crown. All right, Brad Cox, Saudi Crown. Where have you been, Saudi Crown, since last 2 years ago, where he ran a really good fourth in the Breeders' Cup Classic, losing to White and Barrows, setting all the pace back in 2023. Has been really sick. I mean, horse-wise, hasn't the horse hasn't been feeling well. He did win a good race at the fairgrounds. I don't know how good that field was, but at least it was an uptick that he won a race. Now, right now, Brian Cox is sitting on the fence, doesn't know if he's going to run this horse or not. If that's the case, I'm always taking the negativeness. This horse is still not ready to go. He did scratch out for the Breeders' Cup Mile this past year at Del Mar. He was supposed to run, was a late withdrawn. So with his physical ailments, I'm not using Saudi Crown. A very, very good horse. Would have been the speed of the race in this race. And if he does run, I think he's only going to go maybe 60% to 70% full, and that's not going to cut it in this race. So if Saudi Crown does run, he's not going to be at his 100% peak, and that's not fair for the bettors of pet plate horse. It has potential, but doesn't have the health. So I'm laying off Saudi Crown. Next horse to go, Senor Buscador. Yes, Senor Buscador again. And this is his last race. Connections, Todd Fetcher said this is the last race of the Grand Warriors career. I always like Senior Buscar for these connections and some of his gutsy wins, not maybe in the States, but overseas. And he'll be missed, but what a grand warrior. And yes, I think always be aware when a trainer and the owner connection have their last race meant for horse. Normally, they're going to get at least one decent one last time because there is no waiting. There is no waiting for 6 months for a layoff or next race. There is no more next race. It's a $3 million race. And Senior Buscador will run competitive in this race. I would definitely use this horse in superfectas, trifectas. He's been way out of form. He came back from a layoff, ran the Pat O'Brien. That was a good race. I thought the Pat O'Brien was really good. He ran fourth behind Raging Torrent, who's a beast at 7/8 of a mile. Then, for some reason, he ran the Cal Crown, didn't show a lick. I don't know what happened. One thing was for sure, it wasn't a lightning pace that Senior Buscador likes to run to. You could kind of throw that out, but it's still kind of in your mind, is this horse had it? He doesn't have it anymore. Then Senior Buscador ran about 5 lengths off the Breeders' Cup Classic in Sierra Leone. But as I explained in the video before this, that he was really picking up just dead horses that went 22:44 at a mile and a quarter. Come on. I mean, he's just picking up dead horses. Pardon the phrase, but he's just picking up horses that are just tired. This is, like I said, his last race of his famous career. He will put a mark improvement. Todd Fitcher didn't bring this horse just to parade him around. This is his last shot, and his last shot should be a good shot. Was good enough to win? I would say no. Unfortunately, I would say no. Third, fourth in the supers, looking good in the trifecta. Yeah, and he should get monster odds around 30-1. Why 30-1? He's been off form since he's been back. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why he's been off form, those 2 races at Dubai and the Saudi Cup. And people think that, yeah, horses are animals, they're not humans, but they do get haggard. And that's just brutal to go way out there, then try to make it back to the United States race and running. Different courses, different season again. Like I explained before, some horses just, it's a lot taxing going to country. Good. Horse jet lag, if you want to call it that way, maybe you want to call it that way, but Senior Buscador is about as honest as they come, and you cannot fault this horse after running so many big races that he was going to kind of semi just be out of form, just all those hard races. You look at the race replays, you could get them at YouTube. His Saudi Cup try was incredible. To ran down Demersoda, not Demersoda Gaki, but Yushpa Tesoro, and then coming third, I guess, Laurel River, who completely freaked in the Dubai Cup. The Dubai Cup, winning the way he won, and that's not going to happen again. So God bless Senior Buscador. I think he'll show an improvement, but it won't be enough improvement to win this race. Next horse I'll be looking at, ladies and gentlemen. Give me 1 second. The horse I like, Skippy Lawnstocking. Skippy Lawnstocking, yes. I throw out the Breeders' Cup Mile. He was on the outside, worst possible post because they had that short turn coming from the clubhouse turn. He had the 13th slot, and he still, if you look at the race replay, he still ran a really credible race comparing all that horses. Full Serrano freaked in that race. He was 2 lengths behind Domestic Product, who I liked in that race. He came in third, and Post Time, who came in second, which were horses really in the form. So that says something a lot because Full Serrano had the home field advantage being in California, and also Domestic Product running as well as he did after one coming out of the wire, and Woody Stevens and Post Time running his credible race. I was in form up in Maryland. So that was a productive race, ladies and gentlemen. Is the most productive in my thing. A lot of people think that the Malibu Stakes is the most productive race with horses coming into the Pegasus World Cup. I say no. The productive race is definitely the Breeders' Cup Mile. If you look at 2 years ago, where he ran Skippy Longstocking against National Treasure and Senior Buscador at the Pegasus World Cup, again, he was beaten by a bad draw. He had to be used hard around a turn and just lost a lot of ground. If you look at both races, ladies and gentlemen, he loses about 5 or 6 lengths around the first turn and he stays completely wide coming around for home. And this horse had reason to peter out. His best race, the race where I think he'll win the Pegasus World Cup, if you look back and go back to the way back when she would be the 2023 Breeders' Cup Mile run, he ran a credible third behind the Pegasus Cup winner of last year, National Treasure, and Cody's Wish, who won back-to-back miles. That's why I like Skippy Longstocking. Early odds has this horse at 10-1. He might float up, and with my big mouth, he might go down to about 7-1. It's a win, place, and show bet, ladies and gentlemen. You can't let that show money, especially getting double your money. I mean, I see chop players go and hammer 1-1 because they think he's all that. Well, why don't take the show bet? And or the place bet would be incredible, $8, and the win bet should be around about $20 to $22. Across the board bet is a good bet if you want to make some money. If you want to use him exotics and use as a bullet, why not? I'll be doing it, and I'd use him as a bullet easy, and that's why the horse I like. And he's going to get great value, and I look for great value, and don't let that great value go, because you might say, well, I like him to pick fives, pick threes, pick fours, pick six. Yeah, that's great, but don't let the win, place, and show, especially win, place, with those kind of odds go away. People, well, that's not a lot of money. Well, what do you mean? I mean, this, you're getting 22 to win and almost maybe about almost $10 a place. I wouldn't let that go, especially if you load up on a horse, maybe 20, 20, 30, 40 across the board. I don't know about players' bankroll, but that makes sense to me. But that is my pick for the Pegasus Cup for 2025. And I still have 2 more horse profiles to look at. Excuse me. Stronghold, who came in second, 2 Raging Toward in the Malibu. And the thing with the Stronghold now is second-itis now. He's 3 last races in second, and maybe have an allergy to winning now. He had Rage Torn in his sights at the last eighth of a mile. He couldn't pass on by. Comparing, he broke out beautifully. And when I looked at the race, because Rage Torn was my pick in the Malibu, I said, oh, I might be dead, because he broke out fast. I mean, really fast. And he could have set the catbird seat outside of Torrent. Torrent just looked back and says, no, you're not touching me. There's Stronghold. And Stronghold has just become a second-highest horse, which I don't like. So he's a throwout in this race. And my last horse profile would be White and Barrio. White and Barrio, what can you say? Great race to get up that gutsy second at Gulfstream Park. It came off bad. I think that's going to be an overbalanced horse. I think he's lost a step. Why do you ask me, ladies and gentlemen, that he lost a step? Only because, if you remember, a year and a half ago, Cody's Wish, before he won the Breeders' Cup Mile, was breaking slow off the gate. They opened up the barrier, and he was just coming out 2 steps slowly, though he would either win the race or be just huffing and puffing and just run out of gas. And always this is a sign for horses that are they're just tired of running, mainly running as competitive horses, year in, year out, training every the third, fourth day, every week, trying to get the workouts, running against stiff competition. I think he's going to be severely bet down, because everybody says, oh, that Gulfstream Park was such a good race. On the contrary, I don't think that White Barrow is still not in healthy order. I mean, he ran the race of his life when he won the Breeders' Cup Classic a year and a half ago, because the international field he ran against, who he ran down, White Barrow is a throwout. So my pick, again, Skippy Longstocking. I analyze every horse in there. I give you the reason why I like or do not like the horses. That's who I like. In the exact, I definitely like Power Squeeze in the exact with Skippy Longstocking. And I got to use a grand old man for the super and the trifecta. That'd be Senior Buscador. So my number one pick, Skippy Longstocking. Number two pick, Power Squeeze. Number three would be Senor Buscador. And that is my take for the 2025 Pegasus Cup at Gulfstream Park, Saturday the 25th. And this is James Ramos from At the Quarter Pole, where winning and history run neck and neck. Have a good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.